Hi everyone! Welcome to Souped Up Recipes. Oyster sauce is one of the most popular Chinese seasoning. Over time, I got lots of comments said, "Hey Mandy, I'm vegetarian, what can I substitute for oyster sauce?" Or, "I'm allergic to seafood, can I skip the oyster sauce?" Well, if you got the same question, today's video is for you. Vegan oyster sauce. It's easy to make and it is good for any recipe that asks for oyster sauce. Before we get started, let's take a look of the commercial oyster sauce. Even though we call it oyster sauce, this is not the real traditional oyster sauce, but it is the most common style that you will find in the supermarket, and I use it a lot. Let's read the ingredient list. Water, sugar, salt, oyster extract, MSG for the flavor enhancer, modified cornstarch, wheat flour, caramel color. As you can see, besides the oyster extract, other ingredients on the list are vegan friendly. So what we're gonna do today is to replace the oyster extract with mushroom. That is my task today for you. You want to use a high quality dry shiitake mushroom. Do not use fresh mushroom for this recipe because fresh mushroom does not have the intense umami flavor, which is the key of vegan oyster sauce. This is how the package looks like. You'll be able to find it in almost any Asian grocery. Doesn't need to be the same brand. I am not making a big batch, so 4 pieces is enough. Rinse them with running water to get rid of any dust that is on the surface. Soak them with water for about 3 hours until they are nice and soft. You do want to use bottled water because we're going to reserve the water for this recipe. This is how it looks like after they are redehydrated. Very meaty and smells even stronger compared to before. Just by touching it, my fingers smell like mushroom now. That is why it is important to get good quality dry mushroom. Squeeze the water out of the mushrooms. As I said before, reserve the water for later. Slice them thinly and roughly dice it so it will be easier to blend. Put the mushroom back to the water and dump everything to a blender. Blend them until smooth. My blender is not a good quality one. I have to shake it a little bit so it gets everything. Just keep it on until you reach a smooth texture, kind of like mushroom puree. Set that aside and we will caramelize some sugar. In a clean pot, adding half cups of sugar. Don't be surprised with this amount. Once the sauce is made, we only use a small amount to your recipe, so it is not that bad. 3 tablespoons of water. Give it a gentle, soft swirl so the water gets all the sugar that's at the edge of the pot. From now on, do not stir the sugar or else it does not caramelize. Keep the heat on medium-low and wait for it to turn to a caramel color. If this is the first time you are doing this, it is better to stay and wait because every stove is different and you don't want to burn the sugar. In my case, it starts becoming yellow in about 30 minutes. At this point, you really need to be careful. My stove heat is not even. The center turns into that a bit brown-red color first, then I remove it from the stove. The rest of the heat from the pot will keep the process going for a bit longer. I put a little bit on the spoon so you can see the color exactly. That is what you are looking for. Pour the mushroom puree into the pot and start stirring it. The big chunk of caramel is a bit hard to dissolve. That is okay. Just be patient, keep the heat on medium low, and they will combine together eventually. Next, we're going to add some seasoning. 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of salt, depends on your taste. But just remember, we use this as a seasoning sauce, so even if you make it extra salty, it won't be that bad. 1 tablespoon of soy sauce for some distinctive taste, and 1.5 teaspoon of dark soy sauce for extra brown color. The commercial oyster sauce has MSG on the ingredient list. You could add a little pinch for the flavor enhancer like what it says on the label. I didn't, because using mushroom is like using a natural healthy MSG, and the final product tastes really good to me. It already looks like oyster sauce now. Give that a little taste to see if you need more sugar or salt. Mine does need a bit more salt. You can stop right here and your oyster sauce is done, because the taste and the smell is already comparable with the commercial oyster sauce, but the texture is a bit thinner, so I did thicken it with some cornstarch water. Make sure you turn off the heat and add the cornstarch water in batches, or else you will end up with some little lumps in your oyster sauce. Keep stirring it on medium-low heat until it reaches the right consistency. This is how I check it. Scratch the bottom of the pot, and if you see the sauce is thick enough and it doesn't cover the bottom again, or it covers the bottom extremely slow, that is when you turn off the heat. I boiled some containers here. Take it out and put it on a clean paper towel. I thought I could fill up 2 jars with this recipe, but turns out I only need 1 jar. Tap it a little bit to get rid of any air bubbles. This can stay good for 10 days at room temperature, 30 days in the fridge, 4 months in the freezer. Okay, that is how you make oyster sauce. Now let's compare. It definitely smells like oyster sauce. I'm going to try both of them and compare. Get some of these commercial ones here. Okay, let's do it. This is the commercial one. This is the vegan one. It's so close. I gotta try again. Honestly, they're so close. Strong, salty, umami, sweet as well. Of course, there are differences. The commercial one, the flavor is much sharper. As soon as it hits your tongue, you feel it. And the vegan one, it's gentle, you put it on your tongue, it just softly transfers the flavor all over your mouth, and then your nose starts getting that, mushroom umami flavor, smell. It's so good. This one, it has an intenser seafoody taste. This one, it's a bit weak. Well, it's mushroom versus oyster sauce. You can't just ask for everything, right? There is another difference. The commercial one is much smoother in texture. I don't know how good your blender is. Mine is not a good quality one, and I did my best to get it into this consistency. I think if you have a better blender, you can get a better result. That's it! Vegan oyster sauce. I hope this video is helpful for some of you. If you give this a try, leave me a comment, let me know how it goes. As always, you can check the description for the written down recipe, and please give me a thumbs up. If you like Chinese food, subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any episode. If you want to know more about me or support me, check out my Patreon link. It's right there. And I'll see you next time. Bye!